back to the channel. Today we're going to show you how to make curry pork. This is how we make it. So you get some pork wherever you locate your pork and buy it, right? You cut it up in these cubes, right? Sometimes you get it pre-cut like that. What we do is we wash it with lime and vinegar. Sometimes you have to wash it a little bit, and now we're going to show you how we season the pork. So first we're going to add some bitters. So a few splashes there. And next we're going to add some salt to taste. This is your preference, how much salt you want. So there's a this here is a 5-pound amount of pork. Right? So add your salt how much you like. And next you add any of your all-purpose or complete seasoning.
This is to your likeness.
Yeah, this is how much you want. This up to you. The seasoning we're doing is up to your personal preference. Or you like?
This soy sauce is get a golden color.
Right. So we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce. That's going to give it that golden color. Right. When you're ready to curry it, this is all your preference. If you like that kind of color, right? So you just add a little bit. You don't want to add too much, right? Because it's curry pork we're making. And the next thing you want to add is a little bit of green seasoning. So a normal, like a pot spoon there. Alright, so you're adding that. Could add a little bit more too. Again, personal preference, how much you want. Alright. Alright, so after that you just add our black pepper. Right, we like the ground up black pepper. This one, because the flavors is compact. Really give us a better flavor. Just sprinkle a few.
What is how much you want?
Right, this is again personal preference, how much you want. You add how much you like. And now this is the part we're going to add some duck and goat curry.
That's to blend inside.
That's a blend inside the pork and marinate. Right? Again, you average how much you like. Any kind of duck and goat curry, not anyone in particular, but does that. And then you want pepper flakes, optional again. So all these seasonings that we are putting here is all up to you, right? But the duck and goat curry, it adds a really good flavor when it marinates, especially overnight. You want to leave this to marinate overnight is the best, right? In your fridge, right? So after you just give it a good mix there. Make sure every piece of meat incorporate with all the seasoning. When that just mixing that there, take your time, mix it. You want everything, or every piece to be coated in the seasoning. And green seasoning, you want to keep the green seasoning next to you, because while cooking, you're going to add a little bit more to it too, as well. So it adds layers of flavor as you cook and go along. This is what makes curry pork taste so good. The seasons we have in the Caribbean here is unmatched. Very, very good. So stay tuned for that video. We'll show you how to make green seasoning in a later video. So you just see how all that seasoning coated into the meat. So once you let that marinate now, especially overnight, especially with meats like pork and and lamb and beef and thing, you want to marinate those kinds of meat like overnight. It's best to do it overnight. And so that's it. So stay tuned for the cooking process. Channel. So now this is the second step. Normally you would put oil, but what we like to do here is we take some of the pork fat and render it down first. So you could give a more better flavor. You'll get more of the pork meat instead of putting oil. This is what we like to do. You could go ahead and put your oil at this point how much you want, but we like to put the fat first so you could render down. So you let that render, excuse me, you let that render down until the oil and we come back. Alright, so at this point here, as the pork is rendering the oil there,
Bring 2 spoons of normal curry powder.
put in 2 spoons, eating spoons. So that'll be like 2 or 2.5 tablespoons of curry powder, the curry powder of your choice. Okay. And some duck and goat curry powder as well. You wanna put about 1.5 tablespoons or 2 full tablespoons of the duck and curry goat curry powder. Yeah. Sorry, duck and goat curry powder. After that, you wanna put that in the pot. We just want to let the fat run down somewhat a little bit more again. And so it's rendering down nicely there. So you just give it a little stir there. Please excuse the background noise as the vent. And so you just want to make sure that render down its fat until it becomes oil. Try it this way because this way is a lot better because of the flavors you're getting from the fat of the pork. So try this way and let me know in the comments what you think if you like it. So you just want to let that render down a little bit more again. So now we're getting more render down now. So when it's like that, squeeze out the fat in a separate. And now you have the oil here now. So now what you want to do, you just put a little water, curry powder, mix what we told you, the duck and goat and the normal curry powder, until the consistency looks like that. Stir it up real nice, and that's the oil. Yeah. Be careful when you do this step. Now, add a little bit more water. That's what you want to see there. Stir it. Alright, so when you let it cook down, this is what you're looking for. When you see it becoming that little paste there, start to thicken up. Let it cook. Give it a stir. Let it cook.
Second water.
And this is the second time you throw in water. Yeah, so it could burn really nice. So that's the amount of water you want to put there. Proceed to mix it and let that cook down to the consistency that you saw before in the first burning. And you see how the colors looking nice. Everything's shaping up nicely. So tune in next for the other starter. Now you want to mix pork into the curry. And you continue to mix the pork with the curry. Yep, until the curry incorporates with the pork and Just want to take your time. Take your time, no rush. Take your time and mix it. So you want all that curry flavor to adhere to the pork and to stick. And so take your time, mix it. Make sure every piece is coated with that curry paste. That's the flavor right there. Alright? Alright, so now what you want to do, so now you need the pork to spring up its natural juices. So this have to burn out. You want to, yeah, because usually pork, you need to cook pork really good because it has a smell and a rank on it that you have to cook this out. So take your time and let this spring up its natural juices and cook down. Usually this is best preferred on like firecracker stove or something with really high heat, so you could really give that pork, let that pork cook down really well. So at this point, we're going to let that happen and stick around until the next step. Okay, so this is the first water dry down there. This is how it looks like now, right? That's what you want to see. See when the pork spring up its natural juices. And see how it looks there? Now you proceed to add the hot water. Right? You could use room temperature water too, but it's better to use the hot water. So you won't have to slow down the cooking process or the temperature. So it's already hot already. So it just continue from where it is to cook there. To cook so that way you want. And from this point you just leave it. And you come check it, you stir it ever so often, and just let the water dry down now. Yeah, and you could add more seasoning, green seasoning, like and salt to your liking, sorry. And that is just personal preference from here if you want. But we like to do layers of seasoning for extra flavor. Right, so tune in back until the pork is ready and I'll show you how that looks like. At this point here, okay, so at this point here, you could add in whatever seasons you want. You see how the pot looking like that? You could add in like, your shadow bunny, green seasoning, and anything you want at this point. The pepper sauce, anything. You add it there. And now this is like the other layer of flavor we was talking about. That I was talking about. This is the time you want to add in those seasonings now. So we proceed to add those seasonings now. And this is what you're looking for, that consistency. So it's getting there. So now it'll be for the next step. That'll take about 20 minutes again. 20 or just give or take 20 minutes for it to dry down properly. And yeah, that's it to your likeness. So tune in for the last step because this is how it will look like in the last step. I'll show you how it will look like. So stay tuned. This is what you want to see. Just turn off the stove there. This is what you want to see. Let me just stir it so you can see. This is finished. That is it. Look at that. Good curry pork. Good on real good with some roti. And some roti over there cooking. Dal puri there. Chana puri, sorry. Try the chana puri. Try the chana puri. Watch that video. Watch the video that we posted on the chana puri video. It's really good. Don't knock it till you try it. But this pork is absolutely delicious. Really tastes good. Look at that thickness. All that goodness from the fat. And we didn't use the oil. This is purely from the pork fat itself. So it's adding more depth of flavor now. Right? So try this out. And until our next video, be blessed.